So I've always been taking care of people, some fashion, some way. But we're in a new season. It's about me. It's all about moi. Now that doesn't mean that I don't continue to be there for them, but I'm priority. Just like their priority for themselves. Everybody's priority for themselves. I still do. I mean, I have kids in their 30s that still hit me. Late 20s that still hit me for if they need something financially or just some advice or whatever. And I'll drop anything and everything for them, along with my wife. And God, I mean, of course, God, that's the universal thing to say, oh, God.
Right.
Comes first and everything, and God does come first. But now that I'm older, I put myself first.
We are back. See, you got me nervous. You told me you trusted me. I gotta go back to
another episode of Podcast Official. Hey, all right.
It's the podcast. We ain't the cable guy, but we your Comcast. Come take a seat. We need to speak and we can all laugh. Last Monday of the month, 7:30. Zoom in, chime in. We be talking dirty. It's the podcast. We ain't the cable guy, but we your Comcast. Come take a seat. We need to speak and we can all laugh. Last Monday of the month, 7:30. Zoom in, chime in. We be talking dirty. This is the podcast. This is the podcast. This is the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
It's the podcast. This platform for you. It ain't for me. So let's see what you got to say.
This has been the best broadcast we've
So
had.
our topic for this month is who comes first, you or others?
It depends on the situation. Some situations is me, some situations is others. So I guess for me, it would depend on the specific situation I'm dealing with. Like they say on the airplane, get your mask right, then get somebody else's mask right. So I guess if I'm in a position for others, then others. But if it's a me situation, it's gonna be me. Unless of course we're talking about my children, then I'm gonna put them first. But outside of that, yeah, me.
Okay, so couple questions. One, when you say unless there's a I guess a position for you to do it with others, or for you to help others first, is that predicated off the fact that you can be just say helped in that situation as well? Like I can help others and me, or is that there is some scenario where you feel like you can help others even if you don't get help? And I'm not talking about your children. I'm saying just somebody outside of your kids.
I think the brother Brandon said it, like if I'm being led to help that person outside and I get nothing from it, then I will help the person, or I'll help the situation. I find myself a lot of times doing things for others, even if I'm losing in the situation. Which I don't even know that you can lose in a situation like that just because of my faith. So if I'm doing something and I'm being led to do it, I think ultimately I'll be blessed for doing it that way. But that's like how my faith is set up, to just if I'm led to do it, then I do it, and I don't really think about what I get out of it. But yeah, that's the way I would. I guess the situation would have to present itself, and I would say, okay, I'm going to help this person even if I don't get help.
Gotcha. Last question. When it comes down to you saying that you would put your kids first, is that in every scenario? Like, is that just like, okay, if the three of y'all are in danger, you would save their lives before your own? Or is that in every scenario, even just saying your own personal life, dating life, whatever? Like, is that every scenario you'll always put them first, or just certain situations?
If I got to choose between my life and theirs, then yeah, I'm gonna choose their life. In a dating situation, I mean, I guess you mean if I'm with somebody that I like and they don't like them, I would need to know why they don't like them. Because if the person I'm with if I believe that that person is doing things in their best interest and they just don't like them because they're not mom, yeah, they have to get over it.
Yeah, I agree with what my brother just said. Justin, I believe it was. At the same time, my faith tells me that I'm going to do unto others as I do unto myself, and that I'm supposed to love my neighbor in the same way that I love myself and do. But at the same time, I have a problem sometimes doing and acting in all honesty, because of us being able to spiritually discern if the person really needs help or if they're got some type of game going. And that's where my struggle comes in, because I can sense those game. And I pull back. And sometimes, I just wonder, well, Lord, did I, pull back when you actually wanted me to do it, even though I can sense what was going on and know what's going on. And so that's kind of like my struggle, especially when it comes to finances, because I can pick up on that kind of stuff. And my history has shown me that most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time, I'm pretty right about it, but is it the right thing? Because even in doing something that somebody might mean ill against you, it's, when I say ill, taking your money when they really know they're not going to do good with it, or they really don't need it, or whatever the case may be, you can still be blessed by doing that. You know what I mean? But at the same time, in all honesty, I struggle with it sometimes. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I got
That's
you.
what I got to say about it. Okay.
I got you. And what, just out of curiosity, because you have children, you actually now have grown children.
Right.
I guess the part A of this question is, I guess, do you put them before yourself? And if so, did that change as they became adults? Like, did you put them first more as kids as opposed to adults, or vice versa, or it stayed the same? But that's kind of, I guess, like a two-part question. Do you even put them first? And if so, did it change into adulthood?
Well, I put it this way. I have three. I have a daughter, two boys. And I always put them first, especially when it comes to whatever I can do for them, or financial or whatever. And they'll tell you that I've never said no to them. It just so happened to, whatever it is that they ask of me, I was able to do it. But now if it's something I can't do, of course I can't do.
Right.
The only thing I can think of, my son, just as a matter of fact, I just thought about this. He just asked me this week, he wanted me to pull a trailer for his business. He owned the restaurant. He wanted me to pull a trailer for his business, but I never pulled a trailer before. I don't even know how to hook it on to my pickup truck.
Right.
So I had to tell him, no, he ain't no, man. The only reason I'm saying no, because I've never done it before, and I really don't know how to do it.
Right.
But I will learn, and I probably get the opportunity to help him or what have you. But yeah, I've always said yes to whatever I can do.
Gotcha.
For them. So yeah, I put them first.
Early on, raising children, I'm a parent of 6. They've always come first. Even my siblings, taking care of them or looking after them. I'm the oldest or eldest. So I've always been taking care of people, some fashion, some way. But we're in a new season. It's about me. All about moi. Now that doesn't mean that I don't continue to be there for them, but I'm priority. Just like their priority for themselves. Everybody's priority for themselves. So I'm at a stage where, and like I said, I still do. I mean, I have kids in their 30s, they still hit me. Late 20s, they still hit me for if they need something financially or just some advice or whatever. And I'll drop anything and everything for them, along with my wife and things like that. But I kind of figured, and God, I mean, of course, God, that's the universal thing to say, oh, God,
right,
comes first and everything. And God does come first. But in the physical world that we live in, my family they've always come first. But now that I'm older, I put myself first.
At what point did that switch for you? Like, was it once your kids hit a certain age, once you hit a certain age? Like, what was the milestone or whatever that flipped that switch?
I mean, I'll be totally honest. I've had selfish moments. I've had selfish times, you know, even with the children, the woman, whatever. I've had, you know, that. But I think more in the last, I don't know, few years or definitely the last year or so. Because if I'm not doing well, I can't do nothing for anyone else. So I feel like if you don't put yourself first and kind of be selfish and put yourself first, you know, and I'm not saying, you know, if you got kids under a certain age, of course you can't put yourself first in a lot of situations. But we got to be putting ourselves first because, you know, if, you know, we're not here or can't do anything, or we not healthy mentally or physically, it just doesn't, it's not going to work. And I just putting myself first pushes the agenda for everybody. They see a leader, they see somebody that's, you know, that's taking charge or whatever it may be. And that's the example that I want to give them too. You know, sometimes I'll tell my son, I'm like, talk to your daughter. I mean, your sister. Like, you know, talk, you know what I'm saying? You know, talk to you know, because, you know, they, you know, kids and young people or people, they, you know, they can talk amongst themselves, but you know, at a certain page or a certain chapter in our lives, we have to be putting ourselves first, health wise, you know. I'm digging myself out the bed every day. My feet hit the floor. Ain't nobody. I gotta put myself first, or I'm gonna hit the floor. I gotta believe that, you know, that there's a higher being above us. But as far as in here, I thank my God. I thank God, and He wants us to put ourselves first. Why would He want us? It's like people will be like, you know, God want me to live this way, poor and this. No, He doesn't. He wants you to have everything you need, everything, all the abundanceness and all the money and love. He wants you to have all that stuff. So you have to you got to be putting yourself first, period. So that's how I feel at this stage at 50, is that I put myself first. That doesn't mean I'm inconsiderate. Like I ordered some stuff a couple weeks ago and it just arrived, and it was I ordered some stuff, and I ordered a passport folder, really nice little passport folder. I got my wife one, but I thought of myself first. But then I thought of her. I said, oh, she might like this too. I just think if you think about yourself, you think about others also in the process.
Gotcha.
But if out the gate your mind is, oh, I got to do for everybody, you get neglected, and with that, it's like a snowball effect. Then you're depressed, and you got a lot of other stuff going on. But if you're putting yourself first, especially if you got a family and things like that, you put yourself first, and everything else, I feel like it'll work itself out.
The last gentleman that spoke, I kind of totally agree with everything that he said. But definitely, I was been sitting here trying to think of a time when I wouldn't put myself first, because I got to take care of me in order to take care of others, period. Period. That's all I got.
So is that even with, I guess, what does that look like, just say if you have young kids, like you got infant children, toddlers, like?
Well, of course. So just like the last, everybody said on the call so far, I kind of came in a little bit late, but of course, when we're talking about kids, we're going to put our kids first, because if we don't got a little bit of food, we're going to feed our kids first, because that's what our parents did for us, right? So yeah, so in that situation, of course, we're going to put our kids first. But, and of course, we're going to put God first, right? But other than those things, I was really sitting here trying to think of a time, like I was even going back to a job, like, because I tell my siblings all the time, like, hey, you know, once you're gone, they're just going to replace you. So don't like totally commit yourself or totally, you know, just be a slave to a job, you know, live life, take your vacation, that kind of thing. So I really can't think of too many other times I wouldn't put myself first because again, not in a selfish way, but I got to take care of me in order to take care of you.
And I was going to ask that. So being that you've had that mentality pretty much your whole life, have people ever just say accused you of being selfish or being a selfish person or anything like that?
Totally the opposite.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Because no one ever asked me that question anyway, so probably never know that I felt like that, but I feel like that's how most people feel. And especially like the last gentleman said, when you get up in age and your kids are grown, it's like, okay, I've taken care of them, I've fed them first. So now it's time for me to eat. Now it's time for me to travel. Now it's time for me to, you know, the things that you've always wanted to do, but you couldn't do because you had kids or a family or whatever. So yeah, totally unselfish though. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I do want to let you know something just in case you're unaware, all right? This podcast actually is sponsored by a church. This platform was actually created by a pastor, Pastor Elmer Wilson, the pastor of New Beginning Ministries of Tampa. Listen, I know sometimes you may hear content on here that may not sound the holiest of holies, but that's the point. We allow people to come on here and express themselves and be themselves the way that they talk or the way that they think, the way they operate. It ain't no judgment. Hey, do you, boo-boo. Do you, okay? But nonetheless, if you live in the Tampa Bay area, we want to invite you to church, all right? 11323 North Nebraska Avenue. That's where we located, okay? Tampa, Florida. Pull up on us. You live in the Tampa area, pull up, man. We'd love to see you. Okay, we'd love to see you. And if for whatever reason you can't pull up in person, you need to do a live stream, you know, attend virtually, we go live at 12 noon every single Sunday. The real service in person is at 11 a.m. The live stream is at 12 noon, okay? On Facebook, you can watch it. On YouTube, you can watch it. Facebook is New Beginning Ministries of Tampa. YouTube, New Beginning Ministries of Tampa TV. Facebook, New Beginning Ministries of Tampa. YouTube, New Beginning Ministries of Tampa TV. Okay, we go live at 12 noon on the dot, and if you want to come in person, we go live at 11. All right, pull up on us, man. We'd love to see you. We'd love to see you. All right, come join us. Let's see your face right here at New Beginning Ministries of Tampa.
Welcome to the podcast.
All right. Now go back to listening to this unholy podcast.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I was gonna wait till I got to the gym so I could be stationary because I was trying to put my.
You want me to come back to you?
No, but no, I'm gonna go ahead and put you first because it's all about you right now. So, I will say this. I have been like I'm first of all, I love this topic.
Okay.
Because I've been going through something with a young lady who I've removed myself from. And this has been what I've basically been preaching to her was that I have to be able to take care of myself first. I can't constantly be doing everything that you need me to do, but I can't do stuff for myself. If I can't take care of me, I can't take care of you.
Right.
So I told her, I said, sometimes you have to be selfish so that you can be selfless. And I know a lot of people think that that's a hard thing to do, but like she said, how can I be who I need to be for you if I can't be the best version of myself first? I have to have the capacity to be able to do what I need to do for you. And if I can't fill myself up and I can't take care of what I need to take care of, and I'm constantly always looking to take care of you first, then that's going to be a problem. Now, there are instances, like I feel like it depends on the position that you're in, what your title is. A father definitely needs to look after his children first, but he definitely needs to make sure that his well-being is taken care of. A mother, same thing. If you're in charge of people at work, you definitely need to think of your workers first and stuff like that. So I think it's a case by case. But when it comes to just your well-being and your mental well-being, you have to take care of yourself first. Because if you can't take care of you, that you cannot expect anybody else to come in and pick up that slack for you.
Yeah, I just want to kind of piggyback on when he said the mental being and well-being. I just want to put this out there too, that you may know that my oldest sister is very, very sick, right? And part of that we believe is because she continues to put her children first, her grown children, her grandchildren. She'll be so sick and know she need to go to the hospital, but won't go because she got to pick up the kids that are, you know, her grandkids. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. So yeah, how can you, and then you end up in the hospital for 2 weeks, and guess what? She got to figure it out anyway. So it's like, you got to take care of yourself first. I just kind of want to throw that out there. And it is really a sad situation, but she never puts herself first. She always puts the kids first.
Wow.
Yeah. To the sick bed.
It's situational. I'm a mom of 3. So a lot of times I find myself prioritizing them over me, and they are young. They're all under 10. Well, they're under 10. And so, but what I've found out is that in order for me to be the best version of myself for my kids, I have to pour into myself, and I have to differentiate the times that I need to be sacrificial for them and when I need to sacrifice for myself. And so I'm learning to make sure that, you know, I don't know if anybody's heard of this, but you can't pour from an empty cup. And so if I'm depleted, I can't give to them whether it's mentally, spiritually, emotionally, financially. I can't give to them what they need and what they deserve as a mother. And so what I've learned is that I have to make sure, yes, of course, God is first, but then sometimes I have to be a little selfish and put me first so that I can give them the best version of myself. So that's where I'm at with it. And then everything else kind of falls into place. I don't have a problem saying no if I don't want to do something. I do care about people. I do think about people's feelings and things of that sort. But once again, if it's going to be something that's going to cause me to be depleted or cause me to be without, in a sense, I don't have a problem saying no. It's situational. But when it comes to my kids, I love y'all, but if mommy needs to take time to herself, I've learned that I have to do that so that I can be the best version of myself for them.
Getting older and wiser, you learn that people like when you pass away, you take so much time out doing stuff for other people. When you pass away, don't you know the same people go on with their life? Don't you know the same people that you used to run around, go to the store, pick them up? Like I used to pick my sister up, take her to the store, bring her food and stuff. She ain't got this, ain't got that. Went over there one day, everybody party. I'm bringing toilet tissue and paper towels and food, and they were there partying and drinking. So that taught me right there that people don't care about. I mean, sometimes people just take your kindness for weakness because you allow it, and they just used to you doing it, so they get used to it. So it's not nothing that they wrong doing. It's you letting them do it. So like my kids and stuff, you know, I forgot last month I had kids because I didn't answer nobody call. I rode by my son. He said, "Daddy." I was like, I wasn't looking around like who, you know what I'm saying? Because now I'm, you know, getting older, I'm different. Life different. So I don't see nobody like that. If you look here, once you get grown or once you can do for yourself, then you take the opportunity to go through the struggle like I did. I'm not here because I just seen, like when my brother died, we talked about him about 2 weeks. A month went by, then a year went by. Now it's been 3 years, and I just thought about him yesterday, and he been gone 3 years. I went to say, "Oh man, Randy dead." But see, that's how people life is. Life keep moving, and people don't really need you like you think they do. So no, it's all about me now. I don't even see nobody. I mean, I really don't. You know, I be moving so fast that I be forgetting. You know, my daughter, the last one, Miracle, she be in the house. I forget she in the house. If we didn't pass each other in the morning, I wouldn't even know she there. Because she real smart and she do her thing, you know. So I make sure she eat. I make sure her clothes straight. I make sure she have what she need. I take her to school, pick her up. You know what I'm saying? I do that, you know, what a parent supposed to do. But really, in reality, I can't wait till she get 18. She about ready to leave now. It's just different for me. You know, it's about me right now. You know, life's short. You know, so
I got you.
Right, I kind of agree with what everybody's saying. When I was speaking earlier, I was more or less on a financial type, you know, song, you know, as far as happen whenever they need help. But I know a young lady just like the young lady was just talking about that run raggedy behind her kids and stuff. I don't even like to know what's going on with mine. I don't ask no questions. I tell them all the time, I'm no longer a parent, you know. I'm a person that you come to when you need advice. I'm an advisor. You just happen to need it, but that parenting, y'all past that. Everybody in their 30s and 40s, you know.
Yeah.
You don't have me smothered with all that stuff. I like to sleep at night, so
Yeah.
I don't get into all that. But yes, what's happening, you know, financially, advice like that. Yeah, I do it, but they do their own thing. A lot of times, especially my son, he'll call me and he over in Belize somewhere. You know, I had no idea he was even over there. You know,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
But that's the way I like it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Yeah, keep me out of it.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to just add this. I really think by putting yourself first, you were putting God first. So I mean, I just wanted to add that. I didn't really have much to add other than that. I feel like, you know, your relationship with God, He wants you to be number one. You know, in the process. So I think if you have a relationship with God and he you know, God wants you to put yourself first because you know, we some brilliant people out here and we don't really get a chance to implement our brilliantness. We don't get a chance because a lot of times we put in you know, our family, our children, you know, and again, like I said, if you have small children, like the one young lady has on a few under 10, and that's a yikes moment because I had a couple under 10, and that's a lot of work. So you got to put them first, or they will burn things down around there. You got to put them at a certain age. You got to put your kids.
Yeah.
They would get crown all on your walls. You got to pay attention to them. So to the parents who got kids that are young, stay attentive to them. So I dig that, but I just think that if you truly believe in God, and I'm not a real big religious person. I'm just getting, I'm still getting it together.
Right.
I'm still getting it together. But I just think that God wants you to be first. And by putting yourself first, everything else will be great. I just feel like that.
Time changed and God said it would. Kids are not the same. They're not. They're not. You got 13, 11 years old going to schools and shooting it up. Nah. Putting these kids first, that's one of the reasons, like the lady was taking care of her son and doing everything for him and stuff like that. Little white boy who, the little white guy was just seeing different ones on Facebook that murdered their parents. Now we talking about down to 9 and 10 and 11 that murdered their parents.
Right.
Because they wouldn't let them be on their phone or wouldn't let them play their games and they just go off. So the kids of the day, it's not that the parents did something wrong. It's the kids of the day are so locked up in technology that's what they're working off, period. It's no more respect. It's no more nothing when it comes to parents and kids. So I guess you got to stay within that line, the do's and don'ts, and me and my daughter, she 14, we at that line, she said something the other day, and I told her, I said, do what I say do. When you get old enough, you can leave the house. I don't care about that. I help you pack. But you're not going to be talking to me like that.
Right.
So for me, the put a knot on your head, because I will. I don't play that. We're old school. You know what I'm saying? My daddy put a couple on mine, and my sisters too. So you ain't gonna disrespect me. That's for one. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to do this. But I'm gonna take care of you. But I'm not gonna put everything into you. Like my child won't do this. Won't say this. Yes, they will. These kids will tell you to kiss their.
Yeah.
And you put that's the thing I'm talking about. The parents, I'm gonna do this. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it. I even got a favorite kids. A lot of parents don't want to admit that which one of their kids is their favorite. Miracle's mine. The rest of them, I like them. I know who they is, but I don't want to hang out with them. You know what I'm saying? So I'm that type of parent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I know who you is and stuff, but these kids will run you in the ground, and your family will too. So, you know, you got to know what the do's and don'ts. You got to know what you're doing. I mean, if you're gonna put somebody first, then that's cool. But if you don't put yourself first, how you gonna do something for somebody else? If you slacking, how you gonna help somebody else? If you can't help you first.
I love the topic. And I think first when I hear who did you put first, but what I'm hearing a lot when you look at this, examine this topic, you have, it depends. I'm hearing accountability, I'm hearing responsibility. And then I want to add is the attitude, is who you are. So if one, and I heard, I think she said she was your cousin, and she talks about her sister kept putting the kid and everybody first, and then now she down, but while she down, she's still trying. And I want to say that probably because maybe that's the gift of help that is defined within us from God Almighty. So when the attitude of who you are, if that's you, regardless if you up or down, you'll find yourself doing that. I am a helper, so I put others before me. And people who don't understand why that is given to you, they'll look and see and say, oh, you put everybody before you and here you down and et cetera, et cetera. But you got to first understand there's different type of putting before you. So if you talk about with your children, that's a responsibility as a parent at that time. If they're young, that's your responsibility to put your kid before you. But then there's a thing called accountability too, that you're accountable to put all this to. For example, it depends. And I heard somebody use the words situational, and I agree with that, because if you in a debate with someone, per se, then it's all right to put that person first so you can walk away, so you can be that example, because sometimes that can lead to death. So it depends. So we all put others before us. We just ain't paid attention to it. Because anytime you walk away from an argument, you're putting that person first to say, you know what, I give in. I can put you first so that we don't have to get in a wrestling match. So I think as people, I think we are situational, but I think also that at one point we do, but some of us give more of ourselves than others. But it still defines the aptitude and the attitude of the person of who you are. And then you have a selfish person would never put nobody first, except for themselves. So you have to understand it, but you got to know who are you. And so if you're one that will be humble enough to put others before you, then I think that's a good thing. That's the best way to go. And so that's why I think again, I agree. And a lot of them everybody on here hit some good points, but I think it depends on if I'm looking from a responsibility, accountability, or from an attitude, then that would determine the answer that I'm hearing, and that would determine the answer that I will work toward. But I think because I've had people say to me, you always put other people before you when you're going to look at you, but that's not who I am at that time. That's not who God called me to be at that time. He placed this for me to do this. So I do it even if I try not to do it, but I find myself still doing it. So that's just who you are.
Well, I will wrap this up by saying this. Numero uno, I hate to burst anybody's bubble on here who spoke and was under the impression that God wanted you to put yourself first. Because unfortunately, it's a little inaccurate. You know what I'm saying? When it comes down to this walk, and don't get me wrong, it's a struggle. I think Deacon Teddy spoke about it earlier. It is a struggle. We all have flesh, and a lot of times, even when we speak about, well, everybody sins, everybody falls short of the glory of God, and a lot of times we think about, fornication and stuff like that, but a lot of times it can be something as simple as, putting yourself before others. And I'm not saying in a self-care type of way. Like, of course, I think everybody should do things to make sure that you have a cup to pour from. Like, you should get a massage or take a vacation or take a walk or whatever it is that you do to kind of reset. But it is definitely more godly to just say to put others, to think of others more than you think of yourself. Not 100% of the time, just more. And I know a lot of times that, like I said, it can be hard. It's hard for me, even though I feel like I'm a pretty giving person, but there are times that I not only don't feel like it, but I don't. I make the rash decision to just go ahead and be selfish in the moment. Knowing God's watching me and all, I still do it. But because it's tough. It is tough. But I don't have any kids. I'm sure, that whole putting the kids first and all that type of stuff, I'll experience whatever that journey is whenever that time comes. But I do understand everybody's point as far as wanting to put yourself first, wanting to have a cup to pour from, and even not even wear yourself out until you're sick bed because you're trying to run behind your kids or whatever like that. But then I also get the flip side that Ms. Moore spoke about, which is, some people are just, they're just wired that way. They'll run themselves into the ground, give it to others, and don't feel, any type of way about it. I know several people like that. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is for them specifically. I don't know. Pray for them. Hopefully they can find some type of balance. But ultimately, just I guess my thoughts is in conclusion, I think it is godly to think of others, but have a proper balance to make sure that you yourself are taken care of, so that you have something to be able to give to others. So whether that's kids, strangers, etc.